Hey you guys, Trisha Turner here of Trisha Turner Properties. As y'all know, every week we're bringing a local business to you, somebody that we love, somebody that we do business with, and somebody that we hope you'll do business with. So this week we've got Sandy Flint. He owns Flint Photography. On the bottom of the screen is his contact info and his website, so please take that down, reach out to him after this interview is done. Sandy, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. Good to see you.
I'm happy that you're here. Tell everybody how long you've been in business and what you do.
So I've been a photographer since I was probably 7 or 8 years old.
Oh my gosh.
I was the kid in high school and in college that had the camera with me everywhere I went.
Oh
right?
my, yes.
And then I really started doing portrait photography in about 2010 and went into it full time in 2012.
Wow. So what do you think is your specialty? Like, what do you emphasize on?
So two primary things I do. When I first opened the studio, I specialized only in high school seniors and doing really cool digital art for high school seniors. I also do some really classic portraiture for families.
Okay.
Those are my two biggest pieces. And then I also get to do some fun commercial projects.
Okay, now I've seen pictures of pets. Do you do pets?
Yeah, absolutely. Those are family members.
Okay, I thought so.
Absolutely.
I thought I saw pet pictures.
Absolutely.
They're amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those are so awesome. So you probably don't do like still photography? Do you do that kind of
No,
stuff?
I do. Yeah,
Oh,
that's all I do is still photography.
Okay.
We do a little bit of video with high school seniors, but I do pretty much
It's all
all still
still
photography. Yeah,
I
I don't
love
do weddings. I don't do maternity.
Okay.
I don't do. There's a couple other genres I don't do, but
Okay.
yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, it's
Pet ones
fun.
are so awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so
they're
then
great.
what is your funnest part about your job? What do you love the most?
Wow, what do I love the most? I would have to say the people. I'm so hyper focused on telling stories and telling people stories in a meaningful way that represents who they are.
Yeah.
That the only way to do that is to get to know them beforehand.
Yeah.
So I become friends with them, right? And
Yeah.
so I really get to know people, and so it's awesome to. It's awesome to get to know them and
Yeah.
you become friends with them. So,
I love
and
that.
also when they're kind of your friends, you tend to you want to do a better job for them, right?
It
You
becomes
really
fun, right?
Yeah, you really want to knock it out of the park.
The energy, you can feel the energy, you know?
Right.
Okay, so what do you like least about your job? Like, what's the hardest thing?
Paperwork.
Amen.
Yeah,
Oh
paperwork.
my gosh.
You know
and
what it's
every
like.
yes, it's like,
Yes.
gosh, I wish I didn't have to do any of that.
I know, yeah, exactly.
Okay,
Exactly.
so what do you think is your biggest challenge in your business for you?
I think my biggest challenge really goes back to one of my biggest passions, and I'm passionate about it because it is a challenge, and that's really getting people to realize the importance of printing their photographs.
Okay.
Probably the best way I can explain that in a really short period of time. A friend of mine on Facebook posted a shot of the inside of her grandmother's house. This was just a couple of days ago. And there's a small single door, and then there's two very large built-in bookcases on either side of that door.
Okay.
And those bookcases are filled with framed portraits. And this is her grandmother's house, so I'm assuming she's probably like 80 years old, right?
Right.
So can you imagine the storybook that those pictures tell, right? It's, probably them when they're first married, when they had their kids, when their kids were getting married, their 50th wedding anniversary. So it's a great story. It's a great trip down memory lane.
Yeah.
And really digital files don't do that for us.
No, and everybody does digital now. They don't even print anymore.
Exactly.
Myself included.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, that's terrible.
So that's my big thing. Yeah.
I love
Print
that.
your portraits, people.
Yeah, y'all. Okay,
Print
so
pictures.
what differentiates you from your competitors, do you think?
I really think it goes back to the storytelling aspect. I mean, everything I do, people ask me how I'm different. I say, well, I really try to be different every single way. Like we were looking at my business card a minute ago, right? My business card is square. Well, that tells a story, right? It tells a story that I try to be different. I try to do things differently. But from the products that I offer to my photography style to the service that I provide, I really try to be different than all the other photographers in the area as much as
very
possible.
personal.
Yeah, and it all comes back. The whole key to everything in that is what story does this tell? What does this say about me, or what does this say about my business, or about you as a client?
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your biggest pet peeve in your industry? What irritates you?
Well, you really want to know what
I
really,
do,
really irritates me. What really
He's always happy, so nothing really irritates him like that.
I am. That's really what I try to be. I try to be happy all the time. What really irritates me is when people send me an invitation or call me up and invite me to a party. And then like the day before the party, they call me up and say, hey, would you bring your camera? And all of a sudden this party goes from being, a fun time with friends to working. And then, I'm like, yeah, no. And they say, well, you don't have to do anything with them. You don't have to edit them. And then I'm like, okay, now you want me to come and take images at your party and then give you unedited images that are, look terrible.
Right.
And you're going to spread them around and say I did this work.
Right.
No.
No, I bet.
Don't
bet
invite
you
your
get-
photographer.
I bet you get a lot of that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you weren't doing this, what do you think you'd be doing?
Magic.
Really?
I'd be sawing girls in half, making them float and appear and disappear.
Can you do that?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah, I'll show you the video sometime.
Okay. You should
Yeah.
like book an event or something and be a magician.
Yeah, it's tough. The show's kind of my assistants have moved off, and I used to do a 2-hour show. We used to travel all over
Really?
the country.
I did not know that about you.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I would still like to see you sew Blaine in half. Blaine's our camera guy. We love Blaine. We would never want him
I would
to
charge
know.
Blaine a lot of money to put him back together.
That's awesome. Okay, what's your favorite charity and why?
Special Pals Shelter.
Oh, I
Hands
love that.
hands down. I volunteer a lot with them.
Really?
Yeah, they're Houston's oldest no-kill shelter. They've been
That's
around
gotta be
since
hard
the
though. Don't you want to just
70s.
bring them all home?
Yeah, you totally want to bring them
Yes.
home. You know, yeah, it's the shelter has had some rough years, and about 5 years ago they really started turning around. This year, I think they're on track to have adopted somewhere between 600 and 700 animals.
Wow,
So,
that's
which
so
is
awesome.
up from a low of like 75 years ago,
That's
which is really
amazing.
fun. So, yeah, I love animals. Animals is my thing, and,
Yeah.
and Special Pals is where I choose to give my.
I love that. No one has said that yet, and I'm so glad you do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's one thing you'd like for people to remember you for?
You know, you mentioned it earlier. You know, I like to think that I'm always happy.
You are.
I listened to a guy right after I got out of college. I was at some conference or something. There was a guy talking, and he was talking about he was on a trail ride, so he was on his horse, and they were going somewhere. And I wish I remembered who he was and where I met him and all that stuff, but I don't. And they were on this trail ride, and there was a panhandler on the side of the road. And he as he was going by, he said, "Hey, how you doing?" And the panhandler looked at him and said, "You know, I'm just fine." You know, like we all say,
Right.
"I'm just fine," right? And he said as he rode away, he said he got to think about it. He said, okay, so this guy has no home, he's got no food, he doesn't look like he's showered in a while, and he's just fine, so what am I?
Must be
Right?
good. Yeah.
Yeah, it must be doing pretty great, right? So he said, so he adopted that. He said, you know, I don't say I'm just fine anymore. You know, I'm great. And a lot of times, I may have done it to you. People say, you know, how you doing? I say, you know, I'm so good I can't stand myself. You know, or I'm wonderful.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how even people like you just meet in an elevator, I tell them that. I say, you know, I'm so good I can't stand myself, or, you know, I'm wonderful. And it surprises them, and it kind of puts a smile on their face.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I hope that you know I hope that somewhere along the line somebody maybe's been having a bad day and they ran into me, and
You made it
you know,
better.
I hope. Yeah, I hope.
I hope so too.
I hope.
Okay, guys, final question. Where do you see yourself and your business in the next 5 years? What's your goals?
Well, you know, every year we roll out something new in some part of
Okay.
my business, either in the family portrait line or in the senior portrait line. And we're rolling out something really new and exciting in the senior portrait line. We're going to start in the senior portrait line this year, but it's going to roll over to the family. And it's really about not only creating beautiful portraits, but creating beautiful memories to go with them.
Okay.
And I really see that being a multi-year, really expanding and become something really absolutely
Taking off.
phenomenal. Yeah, I really think that's got some opportunity to be
I love
really
that.
fun and really cool, and it all goes back to being different and telling stories.
I love that.
Yeah.
All right, you guys, everybody should have a family picture done. Everybody should have just anything done in photography because it's forever. It's a memory that lasts forever, and Sandy does
Yep.
amazing pictures. His info's on the bottom of the screen. Please reach out to him to schedule some time to spend with him. Thanks, Sandy, for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.